even turn.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game 4 between TSM and Team Liquid. Lost leading the charge here with the squad. Power people right behind him. Absolutely heads and shoulders of everybody else in that last game. Bringing us to a single victory for TSM. 2 more to go.
All right, can they rally behind this performance? PoE hasn't died, didn't die all of that game, and he's looking to continue it because that looks like what they're going to need to make this reverse sweep a reality. Team Liquid right back to business as usual here for the next game. Game number 4 should still be priority for them. They get to choose side selection this time around. They can get their preferred early pick.
And they chose blue.
And that does bode kind of difficult here for TSM because it was, some of the problems that we saw cleaned up, some of the early game stuff, and able to transition that. But if the carries there from Team Liquid don't give a lot of openings, it's going to be difficult to actually make this a full 3 sweep.
For sure. I want to see carries, speaking of, in the top side for Team Liquid. Yeah, sure, he might be good on Sion, but the differential's bigger when he's on something like Gnar or Gangplank. And picking blue side makes me think there's probably a first pick coming through on the TL side, so maybe he gets that Gnar, he gets something else that he can do more to take over the game with, and see if he has a supporting cast there. Alphari is the one I am looking at the most. He's my front runner for who's the best performing TL member, consistently doing better than his opposition. I don't really see any slip-ups from him. It's just needs the team to kind of keep up around him.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of people are looking at Jensen in that regard of, some of these 1v1s. This has not been Jensen's series thus far. Definitely been, Power of Evil, big advantage over there. So as you're referring to Alphari, he feels like the rock. They can count on him for sure. We do have a delay there as they're still getting back to stage. So we're waiting a little bit before the champ select, but it still should be, not a lot has changed from the start of this series. From coming into it. Still the same game plan for Team Liquid. Now they're on blue side. They can throw the extra bans there and make sure that they get Alphari on a winning and influential matchup because he did win even on the Sion side into Renekton and was more useful theoretically to the team. But Power of Evil and TSM able to assassinate tactical over and over. They could work around the Sion, and he didn't get as much agency as we've seen on a lot of these other champions, so they're going to look to shake that up.
For sure. I think TSM's done a really good job of being at the objectives at appropriate times. I feel like their mid-game macro has largely been better than TL. Of course, there was the game 2 where they lost all the control, but in general, I feel like TSM's objective setups have been cleaner. I feel like they've been just there first. Where, so often I feel like I will see TL walk up to the river and be like, can we contest Dragon? And just ask for 30 seconds. And it's like, you guys have the gold lead. How do you not just own this river right now? Why don't you already have wards down? Why is
you say
Alphari
that, but then TSM also threw almost an 8,000 gold.
Right. I said so the obvious elephant standing in the middle of not even the corner, the middle of the room. It's actually named the elephant room, is that game 2 throw. Outside of those 5 minutes. I like TSM's objective setup and overall pacing better. I think they have actually played smarter macro minute by minute on average. I know it's hard to say based on how game 2 went, but that is still how I feel based on how I've seen the games play out off of the leads TL have had and yet have them get slipped away. So as we do have TL already in the lobby, TSM are starting to join right now. We are pretty soon heading into Champion Select. I really hope the players can stay focused. Again, it's the first time you guys have been playing on LAN, in the same building as their opponents since Worlds for about half these players. And certainly the first time in the LCS in over a year since we, had to hop out to playing from home in the middle of spring last year. And hey, sometimes nerves can matter. I mean, most of Tactical's entire LCS career has been played from home. I thought he was fine at Worlds, sure, but I want to make sure all these players can play to their level, can kind of shake off the nerves, especially when, individual mistakes will lose an entire game.
Yeah, and this is kind of baby steps too, as we don't even have the crowd noise in there yet, so it's not like the stage is shaking as much as usual. Do have to deal with outside conditions, but it's definitely a smoother pathway back, I guess.
Yeah, and, they've obviously got the big shelter in front of them. I think the sun is always behind them. I think their stuff faces north, so you never got the sun in front of you regardless. Like, you don't want to have the thing face out and been like, ooh, it's 3 p.m. I can't see my screen.
This is actually, parents just told you to go play outside, and you're like, look, I'm outside now.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. I mean, that's why I'm glad Riot has so many mobile games now, because, like, I can go outside and play League of Legends or LOR or TFT or, a bunch of stuff, right? So, I get to play outside, and it feels normal,
What's Alfari thinking right now? What do I have to do to hard carry this game like I did in the beginning?
Can we get me Camille somehow? Yeah.
Interesting. Gangplank high priority, the Gnar high priority. Honestly, I really want to see some more exciting, like, actual counter pick play to that lane. The thing is, I don't think we will, see stuff like Aurelia, come out, because Team Liquid don't have to. They've had Alfari winning side lane matchups without needing attention.
Right.
So
Yeah, winning without intervention, but then someone that at least you're into the mid game and you're killing more than one turret. You can solo the backline. Ooh.
Nature Walk.
Nice. Okay, so Lilia likely to be banned away, as we're seeing based on these spoilers from the camera crew. Worth noting there that she's off in the jungle, nowhere near the stage, nowhere in this game.
Just like my Lilia just farming away. No PvP here.
Yeah.
It's just grazing away, finishing up all of the jungle camps. All right, good pathing so far too. I like this from real world Lilia here, pathing straight down to the stage,
Farming heavily.
Get on the objective quickly,
getting fed right away within 30 seconds of being on camera.
Yep.
Shout out to the camera people who went out and found that and we're like, yeah, that's the shot we're taking. Let's go. Everyone involved, round of applause. I'm a fan right on this one. I'm glad we're back to the shot. Update on the game, play-by-play stats coming in. All 10 players are in the lobby. The teleprompter says champ select on the screen, so I'm assuming that's coming very, very shortly. Spica staying hydrated. That's good. Keep that going. You want to make sure you drink water. It's very good for you, and we should be going soon.
I'm pretty sure it said champ select since the moment that we got it, but I'll
let
take
them have hope, Kobe. Let them have hope.
Freak's always on the positive side. If there's anything you know about Freak, positive fellow.
Except my KDA.
I was also being facetious.
Touche. Fair enough. I don't know. I was the one who's saying, hey, TSM, even though they lost the first two, they could totally win game 3, and I was right. My predictions have been positive. So
all right, we'll see how long that stands for, because we're ready to picks and bans, baby.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Spica's Nidalee has actually drawn quite a few bans. He's definitely one of the North American junglers that likes it the most. And TSM very willing to pair it with stuff like the Renekton for top triangle type of team composition. So remains a ban that Team Liquid will ban away even on blue side.
I am surprised, honestly, that Liquid on both sides now are just throwing in the Nocturne ban. They won with a Nocturne comp. Maybe they thought, oh, we only lost early game because Nocturne's early game is weak and we just need a different champion. But they won the late game through playing Nocturne well and playing the comp well. I'm shocked they would not ever consider running the comp back.
I mean, honestly, they don't want to first pick it. It can be at that power level where you're not willing to first pick because you want to grab jungler priority first or top lane priority first, and then didn't want to give it on the backswing.
Yeah.
So let's see about here. Do they want to slam down Renekton, or do they actually want to grab up jungler? Because I actually like going Hecarim here first instead, but it's up to Alfari's taste.
Yeah, I mean, Spica got, I would say, more done on Udyr than he did on Hecarim in the first 2 games. I think just the one was enough. But yes, indeed, you are right. First pick Hecarim comes through. Renekton the instant hover for Huni. And we're getting a lot of the same draft run back, just on different sides.
Surprise, surprise, Freak. It's the same teams. We've been on 11.5 for a while, and we know their tendencies. All right, there it is. It's going to be the Renekton part locked in. Now, do they quickly, or actually not locked in yet, still hovering.
Yeah.
Would they quickly follow it up with the Udyr? Or do they have a build where they need AP jungler to come out? They already showed PoE on the Lucian, and they had probably the best opener of the entire series with, Lucian and Tristana. Yet, Lucian and Tristana both unpicked early on here, and it actually goes back over to the side of Team Liquid for their choice of it. Has Tactical really been scared that much away from the traumatized Malphite memes that he doesn't want to do Tristana ever again? Doesn't want to even use Tristana as a flex pick? Because it honestly feels that way. We felt that in the last Team Liquid series where they actually started to opt away from the Tristana even when it was up. And it seems to still be the case. I do put a very high priority on Senna TK. I think it's extremely valuable right now because you get so much out of Core JJ actually being a fed Tahm Kench. She's one of the supports in the league that can make the best use of it.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of a lingering thought here, as we go to further down the line in finals. Is that going to be an issue if Tristana is actually very highly diminished priority for Team Liquid? With Jensen without playing it and tactical as well, kind of being shown off of it now.
Yep. Third time all year, Team Liquid are playing Senna Tahm Kench, once in the regular season, once in playoffs. So not something they go to a lot, but they're saying, okay, we don't want to go to game 5. That feels too much pressure. We'll bring this one back out. We'll play this style. And yeah, I think Core JJ have some of the best Tahm Kench ults I have seen out of that champion. I think so often that champion's like, well, I sit here and I just babysit the AD carry and I chomp them up and who cares? But Core JJ really does get stuff done. The backline axis is very, very strong. That said, Liquid could have chosen a more aggressive support. You can play Senna with things like Maokai or Cho'Gath or Set or something a bit aggressive to find CC. Tahm Kench is not that, so they are playing the safe option of this lane.
I will say, unfortunately for him, they are playing into both shield-breaking champions in Renekton and Rel. So TK Grayskin definitely loses a lot of value. Remember that Rel has so many things packed into the kit. Your Lance Q, you can actually break shields as well. As doing like little things like taking the armor, magic resistance, and all that goodness. So definitely a very valuable champion there on the side of TSM. No surprise, but this is a very preferred front line with Renekton. Trying to get some early priority up there. Need to keep up with the power clear with the Udyr pick, and then having Sword Art on the Rel. I think that he has been one of the bright spots for TSM. In addition to PoE in the last game, Sword Art previously, even though they suffered their losses at the hands of Team Liquid, I thought he had a very good, especially Gragas game, and has had some very good timings there. So Rel Jinx will be the combo.
I was thinking Ashe was a likely pick here for last Jinx, though. It's going to be a good backline, long-range AD carry as well, because one of the big things about Senna Tahm Kench is Senna has 600 base range. She outranges you. She's going to poke you. You've got to be able to fight from a longer range than the 525 of Kai'Sa. And interestingly enough, they're just going to go back for team fighting. Now, Senna has decent enough damage if you've got a way to earn gold in mid-game. They're going for team fighting. Victor, Senna is pretty solid damage. Really big frontline and Sion Tahm Kench. Hecarim's still there for the engage. This team comp is not very different from Team Liquid. TSM, what's their last pick going to be? Because Lost is going to look great in this backline. He's not getting dove much at all.
Yeah, TL haven't changed a whole lot here.
Ooh.
Honestly, though, PoE gets his hands on his Azir, and that is going to provide more appeal for the Jinx as well. The Hecarim now, it is pretty hard to dive into the back line. Sion is kind of a dive buddy with the ultimate, but there's a lot to work around there. You can have people jumping in front. You can have walls and stuff. It's going to, might be difficult. So there's going to be a lot of weight on Jensen to really up the carry performance. He and Tactical have been the ones for Team Liquid a little bit off here so far this series. They're going to need them to peak here because, once again, TL slam Alphari down on a tank. He did absolutely handle his business versus Renekton last time in lane and in the side lanes later on, but it didn't matter when the team crumbled around him in team fights and the carries were dropping like flies, falling to the flash plays, falling to the flank plays, and just getting taken down by TSM.
So the comp is in. TSM's first 3 picks was like, well, it's not much of a team fight comp, but it's okay. And then the last two like, and here's Azir and Jinx, the literal 2 best backline champions in League of Legends. And it's like, all right, team fight comp achieved. You can build full tank on Huni because you'll kill Sion faster than they kill you. Senna's not going to exactly rush down Renekton. So I am curious how it plays out. I think TSM's comp is pretty dynamic. Obviously, you can chem tank in with Udyr, you can do Rel follow-up, Azir can shuffle, and Jinx can just like throw in the rocket and finish that kill. So there is some really nice tools out there on the TSM side. On TL though, I have a lot of respect for Senna Tahm Kench. That is a lane that you can leave alone. Doesn't need much help. That said, Sion Renekton doesn't need much help. It really frees up Armeo to make sure mid's going well because either side lane is going to need much jungle.
Yes, sir, and we all know now the current state of Jinx, if she gets the scale up couple items there, can be a team fight terror. taking over. They've definitely got the setup for it. Sword Art going with the Ignite as well into the bottom lane, so combat summoner advantage when you look for that all-in. You know, call Spica down, flash play, go for the all-in. If they can get some money down there early, that would be huge in snowballing and trying to keep the dream alive from the TSM side of their reverse sweep. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they want to close that door quick. No more dreams. No more dreaming, freak.
No more dreaming. Looking for the 3-1 victory. I said 3-2 personally. I know a lot of the analyst desk initially had TSM favored, but Armeo definitely stepped up today, and the team looked pretty good overall. But will TSM finish the reverse sweep? Will they win this game and bring us to Silver Scrapes? And then on from there. How much we're going to see this one happen. TL looking to just close it out in Game 4. Core JJ going to walk into the river a little bit late. Wards at 115. That's going to be enough to make sure that there's no easy jungle shenanigans for maybe the Udyr to take blue and then go to bottom side. And based on how much vision they give away, they can know that both junglers started top side.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued, actually. It is going to be top down for both junglers. And Alfari does help a little bit with the bluff, but Huni getting that information for them, so they know for sure that it is going to be meeting back up down at the Scuttle Crab. Because it should be the extra push here, but they're actually fighting really heavily over the level 2 push, and Core JJ is going to be able to get the extra minion line, so it's Team Liquid that are going to get to the level 2 first, going to threaten it, even with the extra tongue lashes here, adding.
One difficulty with Son of Tom Kench lanes, you have no Relic Shield, so you automatically lose the second wave if you don't fight for the first one really hard and get early damage on wave 2. And so with this, it's a bit closer. We'll see how much they want to rush this one back, but you can see these minions are pretty low. Sword Art can't really walk up and get more stacks. In fact, he already burned his stacks on the first wave, expected to be losing the race. So ultimately, look at that, tactical. Yeah, gets a soul off of both champions, and you can't re-engage him. Core JJ just chomps him up and spits him out.
And what this means is that then Scuttle Crab contention by default goes in the favor of Armeo with pushing bottom lane. Now you see Tactical Core JJ, this is very good. You don't want a hard push, you want to wait for the third wave to come, and you want to slow push now. You fight really hard, pushing hard to get level 2, but then transition into the slow push so that your timing will sync up, and you can try and help your jungler. This one is going to get thinned out very quickly though by Lost. So I like how quickly he's actually taking away some of that pressure. Mid lane, it looks like too, a top ward for PoE, even though they did scout the bottom side start, the top side start from Armeo. So they know that he started blue buff and is clearing towards bottom, and yet still uses ward up towards the top side, just to make sure, he's for sure going to hover towards the top half.
All right, Armeo and Spica seeing each other. Ghost is burning. He wants to take this fight right now. Spica taking big damage. Bot lane's moving. PoE coming first, though, as well. Stun comes in. And Armeo should be able to win this fight. Ew, wow. Spica grabs it, flashes to safety. Flash for Scuttle's not ideal, and Power of Evil may have to flash now as well. So much damage coming across is going to burn that summoner. And off that play, TL got to burn 2 summoners. To be fair, their dual lane also lost both flashes.
Exactly, that's what I was going to mention for Team Liquid. Tactical Core JJ, both flashes well. This is now vulnerable. The Rel with Ignite can definitely make this play happen. Spica, he just needs to finish off his clear and reset, and he can actually get back down there. There's a ton of extra threat now. Usually the Tahm Kench Senna can play so aggressively. They're harassing you and pushing you off the wave, but Armeo, can Huni actually solo secure this crab? They've got Spica up at Krugs.
Wow, Armeo having to just lose time there. Yeah, he got 6 camps done, but doesn't do anything else. Not going to see a Spica recall just yet, but as he finishes the Krugs, maybe soon up. As we're going to look for stacks to come through. Tactical at least earning gold. Top laners fighting. Pretty good damage there is. Yeah, Huni gets a big chunk there onto Alfari. The early ending phase is going to feel Renekton favored, but Alfari kept up in CS and then eventually outscaled. And we'll see if he makes the same play happen. Gold pretty close. And Armeo finally does get to go for the top scuttle.
Yep, able to return after the big angry Renekton has left. Finally, Huni's not watching. I can grab the Scuttle Crab. Big stuff there for Armeo to be able to return, since he is a little bit down with the flash and smite being invested in Spica to make sure he got bottom side crab. So it's definitely a bit delayed there for the Hecarim, and I'm still looking for bottom side play here, because it really changes the dynamic of the Senna Tahm Kench lane if they both early have to blow their flashes like that, because there's so much potential for the all-in here with Sword Art having flash with Ignite, and there being no vision in the river or around this bottom area. So they can definitely prey on that and prey on just the extra threat.
Alrighty, damage coming across. Nice couple of hits on a Jensen. Power of Evil. Small deficit in CS. Not terribly relevant, though, and Azir's late game is outstanding, so no concerns there on the TSM side whatsoever. With the Comet, went for extra laning power. Didn't get that much done with it, but it's okay. Top laner still battling back and forth. Huni, nice empowered Q, gets the health bar back to full. Decent chunk on Alfari. And the 7 CS lead in top lane can be entirely answered, at least within 1, if he gets the entire wave.
Look at this, very deep ward. You see that ward in the 3rd brush on bottom side. That is a possible, well, never mind, both teleports have been used. All right, it just timed out as well, and the dragon will be started up. He's got control ward on it, but there is a TSM ward in the, or Team Liquid ward on the top left, so they do know that he's doing it because the control ward pushed to the outside by the dragon. Even with the knowledge that he's doing it, though, actually,
walk over a ward with Honey Fruit and Armeo coming. Smite is up, and this is going to be a real battle. Keep in mind, Flash is missing in several spots.
For it.
No crash down. Armeo goes for the backline. Lost force a flash away. Smite fight comes in, and it's taken by Armeo. His first Smite victory this series, and it means first blood comes through as well. Team Liquid get both objectives they care about. And looking for a little bit more. Stun is going to catch Lost. He's flashless. He is Jinx. And he is going to die. But the shuffle, massive. The re-engage, even bigger. Just barely to Sword Art live. Jensen finds the kill in a Power of Evil. It's 3-0 Team Liquid plus the dragon.
Oh my goodness. Jensen just pushes in the wave, and Power of Evil is sitting there at turret as Azir. Team Liquid walks straight up to the dragon, and they yoink it out of TSM's hands. Oh my goodness, that in this pivotal game is just such a big lead. Here's another look at it. Armeo plays it so well. He knows the dragon isn't in kill range, so he pushes away the AD carry first into his bottom lane since they don't have smite, or they don't have flashes and they can't reposition. He gets the positioning for them, then returns, wins the smite fight, and because of the chase down there, they're able to finish off the kill onto Lost. Core JJ is a fed Tom Kench, so he doesn't die even after getting swept in by PoE. And my goodness, that must have been a big difference of like 2 seconds from mid lane push there, as Jensen was able to walk in with Armeo, threaten them off the dragon, and a disaster for TSM.
Well, obviously a great start on the TL side. Speaking, going to start this Herald now, which is going to be maybe uncontested. No one's around him just now, and honestly, top has pressure, mid seems to have pressure. That ward's not going to spot anything. Maybe unanswered. Good play then by TSM to grab this one without sending any resources. That'll help, but the gold difference is still 1,800, and that's going to take some time to work back from. Nice little smash there. You can see a 8-ish CS difference in top. Good pickup there, nicely done. Spica barely lost any time. He's got almost no camp set, at least on top side, but Sword Art, yep, has to crash down to get away from this. Able to do so, he's gonna be fine.
All right, and they're calling over Armeo as well. Another Scuttle Crab dominance gained by bottom lane. They poke out Sword Art and Lost, chase them through their own jungle, and even with 3 control wards, Armeo should be able to finish this before Spica gets back into range. It's now level 7 to level 6 as well with the extra lead here.
Big damage, forcing a flash in case Jensen went for flash eat would have been lethal, so he had to burn the summoner to predict if Jensen was going to do it. Ultimately, this is huge. The extra kill, the blue buff, the stats and everything else, making him just completely crush the 1-on-1. Now 13 CS lead in mid. Plate number 2, gone.
Look how bold Armeo can play after Jensen just takes over mid lane. He walks right in the face of Spica, starts doing his own blue buff right in front of him. Smite is ready. He can go for the fight.
Battle again, 7-7. Smite goes through again, claimed here by Armeo. It looked like Spica smited and a Q claimed it afterwards. I couldn't quite tell either way. Grab a Hecarim, well played. Mid lane still under pressure. The second wave finally PoE recalls. Not going to lose this plate this time, but Jensen gets a deep ward. Or does it take on the chickens?
Oh man, the jungle is taking a beating now. Everything being taken from Spica. Jensen is down to half HP off these chickens though. Is going to have to be content with just the babies. It's very difficult now for TSM after losing so much priority on this early dragon fight. Bottom lane, now free to push in. Good evasion right there from Tactical. Able to get out of the crash down, sees it coming, and top lane opens up the play for the lane gank.
So Alfari and Huni doing battle. Huni in the brush now gets spotted, gets knocked up. Are they going to go for the Scion ulti? Yes, they are. Another knockout comes in. Ult comes in now. Armeo, part of the 1v2. Nice stun by Huni, buys some time. Flash to get pulled back out, but it's still going to be too much damage. Alfari claims the kill. Nice jungle intervention. And now it's up to Speaky to sit alone under the turret.
Oh my. This Alfari versus Huni on the top side. Armeo gets called up for a second, and boom, it is kill, it is flash blown. His teleport cooldown syncs up just so poorly that it doesn't, it's not on arrival here, so he misses out on a gigantic double stacked wave in addition to going down. And guess what, Armeo, richest person on the Rift. That's gonna be a Fed Hecarim. Early Chem Tank is in the stars.
Oh my gosh, looking great now. Team Liquid, they dropped a single game. They come back from a gigantic deficit in game 2. But at this point, they're looking at a 3-1 victory. But this series, Kobe, we have seen big comebacks. We've seen comebacks from far more goal difference than this.
Yeah, man, it's nothing.
Yeah, honestly, who can really say? It's going to go down to the team fights coming in a few minutes. Next Dragon spawns in 9 seconds. Team Liquid should have obvious priority to claim it.
Yeah, all of our assumptions, though, you have to be very careful in this series. Teleport being used just to make sure of it, though, for Team Liquid. They get Jensen right back out to the Rift. Core JJ uses his for Tom Kench, is able to clear out the rest of the control wards leading up to Dragon. And even with the kind of swap there where you saw PoE go to get the big wave Huni was going to miss, him being pushed out of mid lane is the same.
Let's go! What a shot! As Tactical is now 2-0-2.
There's nowhere safe on the Rift for Huni, dude. He's stuck up there with Alfari. Alfari's just laying into him game after game. He swaps mid lane there. PoE takes the double stacked wave and just gets beat out by Jensen. It's stunned by Tactical. Huh. All right, it is going to be Rift Out activation on top side, though, there for TSM, so they get some gold back, but this is the team that invested in the Rift Herald, and they are the ones suffering the giant gold deficit. It's just so hard to come back from losing that first fight at Dragon with the objectives also stacking up. Freak, I don't think Team Liquid are going to make that mistake of letting any Dragons live more than a few seconds and continue on their way to Dragon stacking. Such good control for them. Even with TSM now rotating back from mid, they finish off the extra plates, and they got 2 of them just by hand. No Rift Herald required.
Really good stuff right now. So the gold difference, over 3,500 here. Team Liquid getting the resets in. Kraken Slayer completed for the Fasting Senna. Faster item pacing than the Jinx. Suni, walks away. And just a nice prediction here. He tries to turn around, but it's too little too late.
So good. Tactical with the snipe. Jensen as well. Really putting on those carry pants.
Ooh, a flash gets away from the stun, so Alfari left alone now topside, does have flash, burns ulti, and now has reinforcements. 3 versus 3, that was in comes Power of Evil. Huni, way too squishy, dies right away.
Yep, honestly, nowhere is safe for him. That is really rough. This is going to be a squishy Renekton, Freak. That's teleport used as well by him. Core JJ, Abyssal Voyage.
I mean, some damage on a Spica, a couple of souls picked up by Tactical's going to feel comfortable. The entire team is now topside, I think literally all 5 of TL, but at least that means alone time for a Jinx with a lot of DPS to knock down the second plate. Oh no, there's TP behind. Lost. You've got 3 levels down. Alfari doesn't need ult. You are pretty much always dead to the slows into the big Q. Just when is he going to cast it? He's just autoing, he's autoing, 700 heal, and now you can channel the Q in a second, because how does Lost get away from the rest of it? Doesn't even need it. Flash finally comes in, Alfari's running, he's going to chase him down, and the stun is not going to come in time. The flash for Sword Art's not going to do it enough. Alfari cleanly solo kills a Jinx under a turret, and just walks away with it.
Oh, Alfari hitting one home for all the tank players there. Runs it home, and he's actually safe. Speaking now on the run as well.
Oh, this is going to be a tough one for TSM to get anything done. Double stun means nothing. It's 8-0. Another snipe for Tactical makes it 10-0.
Turn it off, Freak. I can't watch anymore. Turn it off. Team Liquid aren't letting TSM have any room. They've successfully done it. Even Core JJ is above every player on TSM. The Fed support. This is why you play Senna Tom Kench. Freak, it's for this. Every single player with a gold advantage.
Kobe knocks over his audio equipment. You heard the crash in the background. He's very excited. The man is animated running around. It's
Don't
an
give away my
exciting
secrets.
game to watch. Don't worry, Kobe. You can call me out for the dumb things I've done. You do it every single cast.
Oh, I'm actually getting audio issues from that. Anyways, continue on.
Yeah, so Alfari just walks the poor guy. Lost, I feel bad. The Chompers, to be fair, were a little bit misplaced. Didn't get any CC out of that one. Ultimately, Sword Art could never get the stun down. It takes time to reacquire off the E. And yeah, the re-engage. I mean, TSM should never take this fight. I guess they know Senna TK aren't here, so they're like, hey, it's kind of a 4v3. We can get a Azir down, but they got to wait for PoE. He's not there yet.
Here's what I think it was. I think it was, it is Jinx shouting this entire time. Lost is like, can he get away with this? Is this really legal? Can he get away with this? This Sion behind turret? And they're like, well, yes.
Yes.
Yes, he can. That is legal. That is the law of Alfari. Sion runs you down past your own turret, even with flash.
0-4 Renekton's got himself a Blade of the Ruin King. Don't think he wins the duels against Alfari, though, because Bramble Vest is done. The man has about 900 armor. Small exaggeration, but not by that much. Bottom turret under a lot of fire. But Sword Art is here in case it's an actual engage. PoE and Lost together pushing a turret means they are dropping waves elsewhere. Speaking on the way down now. Shuffle back, and it's still just going to be him dying. Oh my gosh, practically solo killed. Sion's gonna land the charge.
Right out of the air.
Oh, Sword Art's gonna try his hardest. Lost is already dead. He's been found for another kill, and it's another quick 3-4-0 Team Liquid. Their wheels have been greased for TSM, rusted wheels, trying to get them onto the starting line, but they can't even start in this one.
Okay, Spica, you're not safe either.
Yeah, pulled back. He's gonna live. Maybe. Oh, they're just gonna tower dive. You gotta be kidding me. They're just gonna tower dive him. They have no respect for TSM, and to be fair, they don't really deserve it. On to the inhibitor turret at 17 minutes. It's 14-0. A single turret fell. That's it.
Well, the Inferno Dragon actually did live longer than a few seconds. So, bright side there. They should be able to just recoup the extra objective afterwards. Doesn't matter that they went between two turrets. Rift Herald's doing the extra work on the inhibitor as well. Team Liquid going to end this series emphatically, stomping down TSM play after play. It just feels like TSM ran out of gas here in the fourth game. Absolute beatdown.
Absolutely. Well, there is still always a chance, Kobe. There is always a chance. It is vanishingly small, but it's never over till the Nexus dies. You can watch that fight again. I mean, just actually solo killed. One tongue lash and he's just dead.
I mean, Jensen is also styling on him here. Procs the phase rush, walks all the way around it. Ultimate finishes him off. My favorite part, Alfari with the ultimate comes down, knocks Sword Art out of the air, interrupts the crash down.
Another snipe for tactical makes it nice. Best thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh my goodness. Can he get all his Krugs though, Freak? Okay, there are 4 Krugs, baby Krugs, yes! He gets a perfect Phoenix auto to collect them all.
The middle ones got killed, but they're worth less gold, so yeah, it's the less valuable part of the camp. And okay, TL, what's next for them? There's no Baron to take. You got 4 minutes till Infernal Soul. With a 10,000 gold lead, they're just waiting for things to spawn to take. There's one final tier 2 turret. I wonder if they will try, well, I guess top has it as well. They cracked the inhibitor one, but side lane turrets to be killed at some point. Bot lane tier 2 cannot be defended. TSM have no choice but to give up this gold, grow the deficit, and try to fight at some point down the line. Probably a desperation play at Infernal Soul.
Riddle me this. Do TSM get a kill? And if yes, how?
Fountain dive, yes.
Okay.
I think they will. I mean, it's not a perfect game because they got Herald and they got a turret, so it's obviously not that one. But I don't believe they'll get a killless game here in Game 4. I think they will limp away with, 1 on the board, maybe 2, and that's kind of it here. We'll see if they can make it better. Obviously, again, the 1% for the comeback should be in the hearts and minds. What is the opening? Where is the misstep? Can Rel find the engage? Can Azir find the scoop? That's the hope in the TSM hearts right now, that they can get that one big play that gives them about 4,000 gold of shutdowns and kills.
Team Liquid outside the gates, their eyes already looking towards Cloud9 and the finals. They are hungry for their rematch. They are hungry for their revenge on C9. First, they're going to have to finish off TSM. Azir turret is down, and Alfari is opening the way to the top side as well.
So down goes turret number 7. and we look at the siege towards top side, Baron is alive, Dragon still in 2.5. The incredibly risk-averse play is to just play vision control for 2.5, grab Soul, then keep going. But also, how are they going to stop your siege when you are up 11,000 gold? As long as you're not overstaying on recalls, as long as your inventory looks better than their inventory, you've got the level lead at all times, shouldn't be too hard to make this happen. They're also making sure they keep mid-push, right? You don't want to just, like, bleed waves away because the inhibitor's dead.
Yeah.
Take the wave when they come in. Nice ult! Alfari immunes the shuffle! This man is so good at League of Legends! And now the siege on the bottom side. Sword Art's at half HP. Shot up and has to get away. Quick chomp, core JJ, but you can see the damage can be there. Jensen and Tactical a little bit low. Are we seeing the snipe? We're not. Okay. There's a chance he went for the long-range snipe on PoE or on a Sword Art. Doesn't go for it there.
All right, we will have a brief intermission in our siege of the TSM base here, where everybody goes back to spend all their money. Shopping spree at the Shopkeeper Freak. I'll meet you there. 2-for-1 deals for everybody.
Oh, man. Kobe, I'm sad to say we do not break a record in this game. 21-10 is the fastest LCS game on record. Sadly, TL not speed running here in the midseason showdown.
That's the fastest?
21-10, that's what I was told just now.
Maybe for playoff games. Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
For LCS, I can see it. I don't think we've had stomps that absurd where it was sub 20, but whatever. We are on to the game for this one. The recalls have indeed come in. The items coming through. We've got Rage Knife and a Rapid Fire Cannon for Tactical. I actually really like RFC from any point where you're winning, because all you got to do is turret siege, like remotely well, and you just kind of win the game. So I like that. It's the very risk-averse play, which makes sense here. Baron is the first setup. They got some wards down, right? A couple in the jungle as well. They haven't swept away all of TSM's vision, but really as long as they make sure it's not snuck, Infernal Soul in 35.
All right, mid lane inhibitor down. Super Minion's going to be applying the extra pressure, allow Team Liquid the ease of switching in here to the red quadrant of the jungle, picking it off. They're actually going to go for Huni first. Huni is the target.
They saw he went into the brush, or at least guessed that he would do so. Slowed down. Shot! And Tactical is dominating. Move speed is nice. Thank you, Zeal. Thank you, Boots 2. The Dragon's alive. They want the inhibitor first. Okay, here comes the attempted shot.
Oh!
Quick Zonias. Is it enough? Hurricane Jinx is big damage, and it's going to be 0 kills so far. Her entire team is dead. Dragon Soul not even needed. It's a 5-0. The triple kill for Jensen. 19-0. Kobe, I was wrong. A single turret, a single Rift Herald, and nothing else went the way of TSM. Domination by Team Liquid here in Game 4. They will get the rematch against Cloud9. They may, in fact, Fountain Dive. They may just close the game out. Kobe! Oh, it doesn't count as a kill! You gotta be kidding me! I almost got credit for it!
It's an execution!
What a way to sidetrack. Team Liquid, a slaughter. An absolute slaughter in Game 4.
Tactical execution, Summoner. Right there. Well played. Well played. And that's it. Team Liquid, they are set. Their date with Cloud9 tomorrow. The rematch will be true. So much to look forward to. So much that Team Liquid want to repair from their previous set versus Cloud9.
Yeah.
And TSM after this one, going to be licking their wounds. Lot to build on, looking towards summer.
And TSM, you saw it in every single one of their faces. Like, that, Game 2 was theirs, right? This series was 1-1 going into Game 3, and then you win Game 3 because they won Game 3, they're up 2-1. All this does is tie the score. And then go into Game 5 and go, hey, we can do it. It's 2-2, we can clearly do this, right? They had it in their hands. This was a series that TSM could have easily walked away with. You are not going to forget that Game 2 as those players for a long time. Huni knows he got top 50 the entire series. 0-5, I think, at the end score for him. That he's going to feel that for a while. He knows this was at least partially in his hands. PoE sadly does not get that 6th final. Sword Art went from World Final to not making the LCS final. He's got to come back and regroup for summer. TSM, at least, they carry a strong record. They carry a strong record from the first 18 games they've played. Another 3 round robins. Try again. 3rd place might be enough to make it to Worlds, but their aspirations are higher than that, and they've got to rebuild. They've got to get back in. They've got to make that play happen. For TL, they don't have time to relish the victory. Okay, you've got to run it back now. We'll see you tomorrow in 20 hours, 19, and you've got to beat Cloud9. You've got to get revenge.
And we've seen some of the things we were looking for. You know, there were glimpses of the dominating bottom lane from Team Liquid that you saw in Lock-In, and you thought would be the norm every single game for this team. But also, some mispositioning in that very same game also cost them. Little things to patch up here. Definitely some improvements they want to get on track. And as you say, they don't have a lot of time. Do it all tonight.
Yeah, it's get home, take some rest. Maybe you scrim, maybe you don't, but who you scrimming? Maybe teams who are trying to get ready for summer a bit early, but it's review your draft prep, look at your games, what do we do wrong, what do we do right, and then you just go. And Cloud9 get to watch this series and say, okay, here's the weaknesses we thought we saw, here's the strengths that we thought we saw, and C9 get to come in. TL don't have time to add new champs to their pools. Maybe they hit some, maybe they didn't. Cloud9 obviously get the prep advantage, as is their reward for winning the first time around. And we get to see this battle again, essentially, tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think Cloud9 need or saw anything new today. So definitely looking forward to this rematch. Going to be hype. Excited to see what jungler shows up as well. Team Liquid here performing quite well with Armeo. I don't think the issues in the losing games, were due to him. There were some mispositionings from both Jensen as well as Tactical at different points.
Sure.
But honestly, hope the best for Santorin. Hope he's feeling better. And we shall see on the day tomorrow what it's going to be.
Well, we are going to be hearing from Jensen very soon. We are essentially buying time for him to get ready. Obviously, he just got off stage, so need a moment to get him mic'd up and ready to go. But we'll be talking to him about how this best of 5 went. And, I mean, the last game at the very least really, really stepped out. His game 1 and game 4 were quite good. Overall, I think he won his lane. It was interesting watching the jungle mid interactions. I think that one you could feel was a little bit rough, right? The big dominant win for TSM, the one from PoE, was, well, yeah, the jungle mid ganks went better. And then mid lane snowballed. It's a team game. It's not just the 1v1 by yourself. Yeah, Armeo had 3 days of scrims, right? Like, that's going to happen sometimes. You're going to have those gaps. He doesn't have any more days of scrims. There's probably no one to play against.
I think that game was actually Sword Art gank difference. Sword Art making the play on bottom side and then coming for the power dive with the Gragas.
That's true.
I think that's definitely something TSM can look at this back of the series and look at the good things that they did in it to try and build on for summer. Not just looking at cleaning up some of the mistakes, but also keeping what was strong.
Yeah, of course. So TSM, it's a month off or so. They get to watch MSI from home. They get to watch these finals from home as well, and then build back again off the record they've already built for themselves. That's it for the TSM side of things. For TL as they're bouncing back. Yeah, I want to see the best parts of that bot lane again, right? Because they had been so dominant. There were the double kill in the Varus Thresh lane that was incredible from the two of them. The Senna Tom Kench domination, they were just winning. Like, there wasn't a lot of intervention until, oh, look, we Tom Kench ulted behind you, and here we went. The fact that they were willing to keep the Scion game for Alfari, and it's like, it's fine, it'll fit the comp. We don't need you to 1v9 for this game. You're just going to play the matchup again. We'll win elsewhere, and the fact that TL did turn that around was quite good. But with that win, Team Liquid will be taking the lower bracket finals and solidify their spot against Cloud9 in tomorrow's grand finals. For more on their victory, Lit Tigers will be talking with Jensen in a Verizon post-game interview.
Oh, stand by.
Okay.
Hey everyone, so happy to be able to stand here with Team Liquid Jensen after that victory against TSM. Now, early on in the series, it was looking somewhat familiar compared to your first encounter. Early leads by TSM, a 3-1 finish, but an astounding domination in that last game. What's your take on the series and anything new that you saw from TSM compared to your first encounter?
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much played like we expected them to. They have like heavy focus on scaling mid picks, but they look pretty lost when it comes to like mid game and late game. Yeah, their macro is not very good, and we kind of knew that. So we kind of just had the idea that like even if we were to like fall behind or anything like that, that they wouldn't know how to close out the game. So even though we fell behind in the early game, I think the first 2 games, we were pretty confident that we were able to pull it back.
Diving into that a bit more when it comes to that early game, you talk about falling behind. We saw a couple questionable moments from you in game number 1, the 2v2 being brought to you in game number 3. How did you adapt after having those moments there on the stage?
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. Yeah, I had some pretty questionable plays in the first few games, but I decided, once we dropped the game that, I had to like try a bit more. So then, I had to like turn it on for the last game. But yeah, that was not my prettiest games for sure.
But you did turn it on, and that's all that matters in the end for the overall victory. We do have to talk about some of what Team Liquid did have to deal with going into this game. We learned yesterday as an audience here on the LCS that Santorin would not be playing and that Armeo would be joining you. He did work here on the stage today as the jungler. How was that, making those adjustments in the week of prep, as well as reintegrating him into the team since you last played with him in lock-in?
Yeah, I mean, we had already played with him in the lock-in, like you said, so we kind of had an idea how he plays as a jungler and how he wants to play. So it wasn't too difficult. The only, like, I guess, bad part was we barely got any games to play with him because we were trying to push through with Lucas, or he was trying to push through himself rather, even though he wasn't feeling very well. So yeah, we didn't get to practice too much, and we kind of just had to go with the flow, and yeah, I mean, it worked out well.
I know that we all do feel for Santorin and his inability to join you all on the stage here today, but I'm sure he is happy to know it is an overall victory with Armeo in that seat. We got to see him on the Nocturne alongside you on the Annie, which was teased a bit earlier in the season on social media. Why was the Annie popped out here today?
Yeah. I mean, I did promise I was going to play Annie at some point, so, I had to do it before playoffs was over, right? But in all honesty, like, I thought Annie looked good against the champions they had, and although it's not like super good in the matchup against Lucian, I can still farm and scale, and if I'm the only AP champion, like I can pretty much just one-shot anyone. But we fell behind really, we fell really far behind in the early game, so it made it a bit tougher, but I mean, I got to pull it off in the end.
Yeah, you definitely pulled it off. And then all the way through towards the end of the series, you're obviously now looking towards the future. You've taken to the stage here today. You're going to be playing against Cloud9 tomorrow. First things first, having this experience on the stage the day before, is there anything that you have learned, or what is your take being here at the Greek?
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure a new experience. We're like basically outside, right? So we can like feel the wind blowing. So, we're used to the nature experience by now. So we definitely have an edge going into the series.
I feel like I haven't felt air on this part of my face in so long, and we get to hear today. But like we said, you will be facing off against Cloud9 tomorrow. You've already done so once in playoffs. Speaking of which, Jat had actually said in his Travis Gafford interview that after the last series, C9 were definitely the better team today, but I think we can do it next time. How do you plan on taking down C9 for the overall MSS title? Yeah,
I mean, C9 looked, I guess, stronger than we expected, but also we played a bit worse than what we usually do. But I think, we made the proper adjustments based on what we learned from that series. So, hopefully it'll be enough, but I'm feeling pretty confident.
I know Alfari has spoken out a lot on looking forward to going against Perks once more, but you're the one laning against him. Any thoughts on that particular matchup?
It'll be different this time around.
I'm sure Team Liquid fans are happy to hear that. Jensen, thank you so much for being here for the interview.
Thank you.
All right, we do have more LCS coverage to come, but we're kicking to a short break in the meantime. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the mid-season showdown, and now that's how you close a series and push yourselves into the grand final. Team Liquid taking their third win to push themselves ahead to tomorrow's grand final, and they do it in utterly dominant fashion, Raz.
Scary. That was frightening.
Woo!
I want to be in the same room as them. What the hell was that?
Someone made them angry after Game 3.
Yeah.
I guess it was TSM,
Yeah,
but man, they really showed them. They
personal.
showed them what's up in that fourth game.
Yeah.
Raz, let's talk about how they did it, because that was just another gear that they seemed to shift into.
My God. I mean, looking back at the draft, not much has changed other than Senatom Kench. You bring in the Senatom Kench. You already had Cyan previously. It is straightforward team fight composition. I like the Hecarim personally just because it is going back to it scales better than the Udyr. You can team fight a lot easier. So I was a personal fan of Team Liquid. I was already a fan of the game and they lost. It was not the draft that lost them that game, I will say. It was definitely the gameplay, which is why I love the fact that they went straight back to it.
And Primal, at the end of the last game, you had asked a question over to Hai. You had said, where's that mid gap that you promised me? And in this game, it felt like maybe we finally found it.
I think we found it. Honestly, I think it was just an everything gap.
That's
game.
fair, too.
And
That's
I'll
fair.
own up. I was public about saying I actually didn't love TL's draft. I thought they should have denied Speak of the Udyr. I thought they should have given Alfari a carry. But it turns out anything Alfari plays is a carry. And Armeo is solid on Hecarim as well. So, I mean, this is just a slam dunk performance all across the board. I think this didn't even get to the point of draft mattering all that much.
Yeah, like even after hearing the interview from Jensen about how Armeo really didn't have much time to practice with this team, this sequence was perfect from him.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he was able to make his bot lane a part of the play when he came in with his Hecarim charge, and then just to cap it off at the tail end of it under tower. Great job.
You know, before this game, we said we'd like to see Alfari on someone that isn't signed, because I was like, how hard can you top gap someone with sign, right? Well, I guess he showed me you can top gap pretty hard, even if you're a tank sign. He's literally tower dive 1 versus 2. He countered the zero ultimate multiple times in this game. I guess I have seen what a carry sign looks like, and I have been convinced it's a thing. Will I play it? No, but it looks good.
Speaking of convincing, the TL yacht is entering the harbor.
Yeah.
You are welcome aboard, Hai.
Okay.
Right. If you're still afloat out
He's
there,
already
you know
gone.
what that is.
I'm just gonna say that TSM had the game in the bag at least 2 out of 3 of the games that they lost. Now, they didn't win, of course, because that's what matters at the end of the day, but they looked really good. They were on the yacht. They hit a glacier like an iceberg. I don't know. They didn't see the iceberg. It's invisible.
I mean, I actually like that you brought up the point that TSM, again, was in the lead in 2 of those lost games, because I think that speaks to the closeness of this series, whereas the 3-1 scoreline, as well as the dominance of the 4th and final game, might suggest otherwise.
Yeah, so for me, I think TSM, when they have a lead, we've seen it multiple times during the regular season, I'll have to say. Going up against Dignitas, right? Like, being able to cap the lead that you have, just slowly control the game and be disciplined around it is not something that we've seen. But Team Liquid can do that. And I think what's going to be important when they go up against Cloud9 tomorrow is not only showcasing that they can close leads that they have, but they can come back when they are behind. So we're seeing a little bit of both here in today's games.
Right, as we're saying goodbye to TSM since they won't be here tomorrow, I do want to say, it's better to lose by throwing than lose by getting stomped like in the last game, right? If you just had 3 games where they just got crushed, there'd be no hope for them, right? They'd feel pretty down. They'd be like, all right, we need some roster changes, bam, bam, bam. But when you're just throwing the games, you're like 10K up, you're just like, all right, guys, sometimes we got to use our heads more often than that. And that's a much better scenario to be in than to be down 10K every single game.
I don't know, it comes down to how you feel, right? Would you rather just recognize at the end of the day that you're just worse as a team and getting stomped out like that, or the fact that we just keep losing advantages and we feel by the end of the day that we were better in some way? So like it's a hard
As a previous player, if you're just getting down 10K in a row, you might get replaced. You don't have that luxury of like, hey,
That's fact.
I swear I'm better than the 10K gold deficit I've experienced 3 games in a row. Like,
Yeah, true.
I'm with Hai, job security.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, no, I would like to think that there is something that TSM can garner from this series, in that there are a number of things we do well. These are the things that we can build on moving forward. We have to remember that this is just the midpoint of what is a very long year for the LCS. And while they will fall short of the title this time around, to finish 3rd, with Bjergsen moving into a coaching role, with a couple of players shifting into roles in a new team that hasn't had that long to work together at the end of the day. I mean, again, that's something to hold your heads up high about.
Absolutely. And, at the top of the day, we talked about this being a team that has had a huge narrative of growth. And I think if you're a TSM fan, understandably, you're going to be disappointed. But at the end of the day, they had winning positions against TL from early game multiple times in the series. So I overall think that there's a lot of bright spots going to summer for TSM.
Yeah, and we've seen this from them in the beginning of the season when people were already counting them out and saying that they just lucked awful, and like playoffs was a conversation that we didn't even know if they were even like gonna get there or how far they can get. But they've already shown that growth, and we already talked about the coaching staff of like Bjergsen, of Curry. Like they can get there. These are tough conversations to have, but you have a whole lot of time now before summer split, during summer split.
All right, and while we do, again, say goodbye to TSM, I think it's important we put the attention back on the winning team, the team that has pushed themselves into the grand final tomorrow to challenge Cloud9 once again. They've done it in a best-of-5 before. We'll see if they can do it tomorrow.
Let's go!
But when we talk about the victory that was crafted today, and though he's already garnered so much attention, it was Alphari who went supernova today on the Rift, delivering some rather out-of-the-world performances and earning himself Player of the Series.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, every single game, didn't really matter whether he was strong side, weak side, he was winning top. And, you know, this is a mini return to form after the previous series where I think Fudge actually handled him quite well. So I'm looking to see Alphari bring this laning prowess and, more importantly, the ability to actually carry the game after the laning phase into the tomorrow's series.
Yes, flexibility as well. The fact that we talk about how he can play carries, now we're seeing the other side. If you're going up against Cloud9 tomorrow and Cloud9 has to prep up against Alphari, we've seen a whole propensity of champions and playstyles that you have to fight. I know when we go up against Team Liquid, we're thinking Senatom Kench, maybe Seraphine, they want a team fight. What is Alphari going to do? Because what we know for sure, consistently strong laning phase, as you mentioned, and now in team fights, I have no idea what he's going to play.
Right. For me, the player series was actually really close between Alphari and CoreJJ.
Yes.
CoreJJ had multiple monstrous engages that Alphari did follow up on, yes, but there was such a clear difference in the top gap, like the top lane in all 4 games, that I had to get to Alphari at the end of the day. I think CoreJJ was a very close second. I'm really excited to see them play tomorrow. Hopefully Alphari can play like this tomorrow rather than what happened last time when they played against C9, but we'll see how it goes for them.
Well, at the end of the day, right, it's going to take more than just a singular member performing at a high level to take down even the 3rd best team in the LCS in TSM at this point, and to challenge what is currently the best team in the LCS in Cloud9. That does mean that tomorrow we've got one final series to see, and it's a reminder that, first off, our friends over at the LEC have their own finals tomorrow for the very first time in the history of the European LCS or LEC. Neither G2 nor Fnatic qualified for finals, meaning that starting bright and early. That's right. A new day is dawning when Mad Lions and Rogue face off on the Rift and crown a new European king. Of course, starting a new chapter over here in the LCS League history as well, as we determine our first ever midseason showdown champions with Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. As the sun sets here in Los Angeles, Team Liquid rises and readies themselves to topple Spring Split Giants Cloud9 for glory and the midseason title. Also the chance to represent North America at MSI in May. It's time for us to stop down and preview real briefly that matchup tomorrow. Raz?
It's going to be a damn good one. I think Cloud9, we've already saw what happened when they went up against Team Liquid. I was a bit upset about Team Liquid's drafts and how they generally prepared for them. I think it's 100% going to change up. But we were talking about flexibility for Team Liquid. That is the damn same thing with Cloud9. And the weak spots that we talked about before the season started, or even like coming into the playoffs being Fudge, I just don't see it anymore. So Alphari has to be concerned of not just Fudge, of Blabber, the MVP as well. Because if there's an advantage going, if there's a stacked wave, you got to defend him. He's the person who's getting your advantages. We've seen that today. So that's what I want to see if you're Team Liquid.
I totally agree, Raz. And, you know, there's still some work for Team Liquid to put in. Jensen did not have a particularly dominant series. You know, the last game there, he was definitely looking really good. But we have to remember he was getting caught out on Victor. One could argue it was playoff jitters, but this guy is a veteran, right? And if you do that versus Perks, you're going to get taken advantage of. The good news is that Alphari is looking in prime form right now. And I think if they can get Alphari in winning matchups, and ideally Fudge not on picks that neutralize matchups like Sion, they can ideally get advantages through top and snowball.
For me, I would be a lot more excited for this match if they had Santorin, although I'm still looking forward to it because Armeo performed really well. I think he'll do well tomorrow as well. Outside of that, Jensen said that he basically said that the mid tomorrow will be different than what happened last time. Does that mean he's going to get crushed harder? Or does it mean
don't do him like that.
Come on.
Relax. Get out of here.
Read the subtext.
Hi,
guys.
savage.
No, I honestly, I
you take
love
that how you will, but you know, Cloud9's got the #1 jungler on the team. They got the #1 AD carry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's really hard to win mid lane if your side lanes or your jungler isn't there to back you up. Unfortunately, it's not just 1v1. Perks has Blabber on the side, and it might be rough for Jensen.
I'm gonna
out
say
there.
this one thing for sure is that like if there's one thing that I noticed about today's series, even it happened in the game they lost, so it definitely overshadowed it. Bot lane's looking great for Team Liquid. Like Tactical seems like he's online again, alongside Core JJ. He didn't, and you're seeing that dominance that we wanted to see consistently throughout the split. So if it comes down to the bot lane matchup, which I agree with you in the sense of Sven and Vulcan being so strong, so consistent for so long, but you have that great day that we've already saw today from Tactical and Core JJ. Yeah, it's a different series.
Yeah, they're going to have to put up a similar performance tomorrow against both Vulcan and Sven. I do love the call out again to Jensen v. Perks because that is a spotlight matchup. I personally love the simplicity of that answer. It will be different this time around, throwing the gauntlet for what will be the battle for the title tomorrow. But beyond all else, I do want to talk about Armeo one last time in the jungle because you mentioned it. It's a totally different task to go up against the Honda MVP in Blabber. And while he handled himself incredibly well today, I think, Raz, my question to you is, what more is he going to have to do in order to make sure that TL can take a series against the best that we've seen in the jungle?
For sure, I think they need to review some of the 2v2s they had here in mid. Because even though top lane and bot lane were doing well, it's not going to be that good when you're going up against Cloud9 tomorrow. And the 2v2s were just failing from not just, of course, Jensen. It was Jensen and Armeo that were just not on the same page. You need to get a lot better on that, be on the same page. That's the tough conversations you have going up to tomorrow because you're right. C9's going to back up Blabber whenever he does.
Yeah, Raz, I think you're totally right from a micro perspective. Unfortunately, they have fewer than 24 hours to review and correct some of this stuff. I think, unfortunately, what they have to do is just hedge a little bit, get Armeo on jungle matchups that are relatively easy to play because Blabber is a whole different type of animal. You don't want to be in a situation where he has a much better early game jungler and you're just getting trashed, especially if Alfari is your win condition and you need to get him ahead.
Just camp top, guys.
Hey, good news.
Here.
Good news. What we saw, like when they were challenging for Scuttle Crabs and Armeo was on top of it, everyone collapsed on Team Liquid. It seems like he has a good enough voice that they recognize to just be on top of him at every point.
You won a lot of the smite fights too.
That's
There
true.
it is. There it
None of
is.
them.
All right. Well, it's all said and done. It was a complete team effort for Team Liquid to push themselves ahead to tomorrow, and the stage is quite literally set for a sweet best of 5. Real quickly, we've got to shout out Buffalo Wild Wings. Thank you so much for providing the on-site catering for our crew and us as well here at the Greek. We appreciate it, and so do our stomachs. Now, before we go, we want to remind all of you that we're coming to you again at noon tomorrow for an hour of countdown before we jump into our opening ceremony presented by MasterCard, where we will get a first look at Pentakill's new single. It's going to be fire, my friends. Oh, they're even giving you a teaser.
Oh, no.
Oh, my. This is going to be fun. I've seen these guys perform before. They always put on an amazing show, and it's going to be an absolute treat to be able to kick off our series tomorrow with that. And as well, I think that's going to add to the pageantry and what the players feel when it comes to finally being on site. And you heard Jensen say at the end of the day, they feel they've got maybe a little bit of a buff. Playing in nature already. They got the wind in their faces.
The nature buff.
They're
Real
ready
life
for
Lily
it.
out there.
They made friends with the deer.
We
out
got
there.
Lilia
Yes,
in the
yes.
jungle. We got TL with the nature buff. We'll see if that's enough to take down Cloud9. That is going to do it from us here, though. So on behalf of myself, the casters, and our entire broadcast crew, not entirely remote this time around, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the grand final and the conclusion of our midseason showdown. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.